Call this regular Board of Education meeting to order for the school district of Sturgeon Bay. Would everyone rise for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks. And then calling it to order, I am noting that we are going into closed session following the open session tonight. And also noting that we are moving the recognition of the Sunrise Spelling Bee champions up to right before the public comment section. So that way, since it's a school night, those folks can get home. Same thing with student council representative report. As you know, after your report, you can be on your way as well. So, Ann, can we do a roll call vote?
Commissioner Starr?
Here.
Commissioner Meyer? Here. Commissioner Voss? Here. Commissioner Jenner-Jones? Here. Commissioner Stefani?
Here.
Commissioner Cruz?
Here.
Commissioner Howard?
Here.
Commissioner Schultz?
Here.
And Commissioner Springer?
Here. Excellent. And then can we have a motion to adopt the agenda, again, notating that we're going into closed session and to move the recognition for the spelling bee champions just below the student council representative report.
I'll move to adopt the agenda, noting that we're going into closed session and that the Sunrise Spelling Bee Champions recognition is being moved after the student council report. Okay, and noting that we are going into closed session after point 12. A 19.851 C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility for the mid-year performance evaluation of the district administrator, after which we'll return to open session. Second.
Perfect. Motion in a second to adopt agenda is presented, and realizing we're going into closed session as just mentioned. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, so now we are down to student council representatives.
I was assured Monday night at the basketball game by both ladies that they will have an excellent report for us tonight. Okay, maybe I have the word excellent.
Yeah, I don't think that we ever.
Because we missed you last month.
Again, we're still in our slow season, so we don't have like a whole lot going on, but we're trying to come up with some fun things to get students involved, but you know, it's February, nobody wants to really do anything. But
Looking forward to spring break.
yeah. So we attempted to do this thing called Skate to Sadie's. We were gonna have it at the Memorial Field ice skating rink. We were gonna have like just kind of like a fun activity with like free hot chocolate. It was too warm, so now we can't do that. But we tried.
It was supposed to be this Friday, and then we have our Sadie's dance on Saturday. And then last week we celebrated National Hope Week. I mentioned before our new club this year, Hope Squad, about mental health awareness and suicide prevention. And so every single day we had a different theme and dress up day. And along with that, right outside our lunch stores in the morning and during lunch, we handed out different things, like we had sunglasses, stickers, conversation hearts. People could come up and write a message on little hearts that we put on the board. We had a photo background, and then along with that, we had different announcements, and every day was themed towards a different mental health cause. Then we also celebrated National Day of Hope on Thursday, which is nationally recognized throughout our high school.
And then we're also planning on doing another boys volleyball tournament. I mean, I know all of you are really excited to hear about that. I think in March we're planning on doing that, and then we're also gonna do like a spirit week right before spring break, just so get people involved.
And then in Project 180, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Little Heart Project. So it's like these little crocheted hearts, and like the little blurb on it, it has a little card on it. And it was this lady who suffered from suicide and like mental health, and she made this nationally recognized project, and it's all in all 50 states, and it actually started in Wisconsin. So we received a donation of about 200 hearts, and so we had to put the little messages on. And then Friday, we were gonna go and hand them around school during lunchtime.
And then more like general school stuff, our mock trial season is officially done. We had our regional tournament. I think that was 2 weekends ago, or I don't remember. Everything was just coming together. We got third place, so one behind state. It was a good run. We tried really hard. We had a really great team this year. So that's done and we're looking forward, well, I can't, but we're looking forward to next year.
I forgot to mention on the hearts, on the little card, it has the 988 suicide prevention. And then also for service club, last week for student council, the 3 weeks prior, we sold carnations. We started this last year. So we partner with Moss Floral, and people can buy carnations for anyone in the high school or teachers and write a little note to and from or anonymous. And then we all delivered those on Friday. And along with that, service club, we made little heart felt things for every single teacher with little sayings on it, like for math, you integrate our hearts together, just like little fun things. And then we surprised them and put them on everyone's door on Friday.
That's really.
So what we have for you guys.
That's a lot.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
one said it's excellent, but.
Yeah.
We tried.
You know, you can label it how you want. There's only so many reports left for you guys. There we go. I was gonna say, any questions or comments for our two reporters here from student council co-presidents before I ask one of them to talk just a little bit more? Because I think we haven't had a meeting since whenever, or at least you haven't been present maybe. Anybody, anything for student council or others for now? Otherwise, depending on who's been at what meetings and last month and announcements that we're pretty aware of, don't remember, did we have you Maya share with the board what you're doing in the future?
Yes.
We did cover that? Okay, my bad. I was off 1 month for some reason. I'm thinking we knew it, but then I was like, we didn't have a chance to share it with them. We didn't have last month. All right, then we're good there.
I think you shared it, but I don't know if we congratulated you enough. It's such a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I leave next week. We're both going.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Not that I walked in on study hall once upon a time and you two were looking at plane tickets. It was pretty good reason though, I know, in fairness. And then, not on your agenda, but maybe President Stefani to help with transition here in just a moment, have a little fun. I think the Sunrise Spelling Bee champs are gonna have a spelling competition with Lauren and Maya. Is that?
Oh,
We didn't tell you two about having to spell off with our really sharp spellings? Yeah, you probably would. Okay, maybe we won't do that, just to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think we're
I
good.
think you're
President
good.
Stefani?
Yep. Go study.
Yeah, as usual, stay as long as you want and then
Yeah.
whatever. Thank you, ladies, and thank you.
Thank you.
Also summarize.
Yes, so we've got some spellers.
So, yeah, we have spellers.
small
We,
one.
thank you. A couple, we did classroom spelling bee and at Sunrise. 2 kids went on to the school-wide bee. It was in the library. We streamed it to the classrooms and out into the universe so grandparents could watch. It was, it was tough, but they did a great job. And we have 3 winners. Third place was Zoe Burry. Second place was Penny Stinnett. And our first place winner is Jack Vandervelden, who's here tonight. He won a couple years ago, so he's going on, so he knows the game. He's going on to regionals in Kiwani, February 24th. But we just want to recognize Jack and Penny and Zoe who aren't here tonight, but just for having come on up, Jack, some cold
Take your picture, Jack, come on down.
cold stone nerves, and he's already gotten a certificate and everything else, but we just kind of wanted to say, good job, you did awesome, and good luck. Yeah.
Hold that pose, Jack, Dad. You wanna come on over and get a shot here? Yeah. And then we're gonna We're gonna have him, here, pose again for
All
me.
right.
I was talking about that. Oh, that was nice.
Jack is also a pretty awesome basketball player.
Yes.
Dad's a coach. Yeah, this team, it'll be fun to watch them over the years. So we got academics and sports, all of it. But yeah, spelling, the competition is like in the zone. Yeah, this guy's in the zone.
So we're gonna have him, come on down. If everyone wants to, be ready to shake his hand when he comes through. Shake or knucks, pretty much your call. So we're gonna have you come right, Mrs. Small, you wanna just lead him so he's comfortable right on the inside of the tables here?
We'll go on right through. Fist bump.
And then you can, depending on the preference, congratulations. Way to go, buddy. I'm gonna do a handshake. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Nice one. Thank you. Jack, your mom must be really smart, huh?
Stone face right there. Just a finger for dad back there.
Yeah, both. Yeah,
That's
you're
right.
doing great, dear.
Have you ever had, hold on, Jack, have you ever had a favorite word to spell?
No.
No, all right. We will not put him on the spot anymore.
What was the winning word?
Good job.
You will laugh at the winning
What?
word.
I want to know the winning word.
It was, do we wanna say it? Cause it got hard and then it got easy and then it got hard again, like because the runner-up and the second runner-up, it got really hard eventually. But in the easy round, you actually asked for a definition. The word was, do you wanna say it?
Chair.
Chair.
Chair? Like sitting chair? Like
And
chair?
he did, cause he thought it was, which I thought was pretty smart. Jack was like, can I have a definition? Cause it was like, are you messing with, like.
Yeah.
Which I thought I was kind of with you on that, but no, it was chair.
Okay.
So I think he's gonna like, so, yeah, but you had some other harder words to get you to that point, and little sister was also in it, Vivian. She made it pretty far as a fourth grader, so that was pretty cool too. So we had a lot of good spellers in the mix, but yeah, chair. Anyway, thank
I'll
you.
use them.
Thank
It's
you.
important.
Yeah.
Congrats, Jack.
Yeah.
Jack, good job, buddy. Yeah,
Okay.
well,
Next, we are to the public comment section. And as noted in board policy 0167.3, public participation at board meetings. Individuals who wish to address the board should be residents of the school district of Sturgeon Bay or parents of students enrolled in the district. Speakers are asked to share their name, address, and be aware that comments may be limited to 5 minutes. That's what our board policy says. Any resident may make a presentation not to exceed 5 minutes on any item appearing on the agenda. Any resident may make a presentation, basically, it says the same thing, 5 minutes. Some of you may have been here in COVID, we actually shortened it to 3 because we had so many people present at that time. But that was just on the interest of time, we were still here hours when people presented at that time. Let's hope we never go back to that kind of situation, but you have 5 minutes, what I'll do is I will, I time this, and I always raise my hand when there's 1 more minute. So at 4 minutes, I'll raise my hand. So, we had 2 people that actually kind of let us know. So we're just going in the order of who let us know at different time. So we have, and that doesn't mean if somebody else is here to talk, you can talk. It's just I don't have you on the sheet. So, first was Bill Herbst. So come on down.
Good evening. My name is Bill Herbst. I live at 970 Jefferson Place, and I'm the parent of a current freshman and 2 graduates of Sturgeon Bay High School. One was a valedictorian in the class of 2020 and is a second-year PhD student at Vanderbilt studying biomedical engineering, and one has a chemical engineering degree from Iowa State and currently works for a pharmaceutical firm in Middleton. We are both very appreciative of the incredible education they received, and especially the AP classes in math and science, as it helped them get them where they are today. I am here to discuss the reassignment of high school art teacher Nicole Herbst to full-time elementary school instruction. In the interest of full disclosure, I am her husband. I realize that the district faces a future of reduced enrollment coupled with reduction in state funding. In this situation, I feel that it's imperative that attention be paid to having the strongest possible staff member at each position in order to keep our district anchored in excellence, and especially so for more advanced or AP classes. Mrs. Herbst has served the district for 32 years, including the last 23 years as the high school art teacher. She developed the AP curriculum for Sturgeon Bay schools, having so much success that students scoring at the highest levels that she scoring at the highest level is that she was asked to be a reader for AP Art and Design in Salt Lake City for 2D and 3D portfolios. She's been published 5 times in the Scholastic Arts National Art Education magazine, the last being very recently in the Spring Highlight 2026 edition for the upcoming National Convention. She'll be presenting at the National Art Education Convention in Chicago in March, and the topic is AP Art and Design and Organization. She received the State Presidential Art Educator Award in 2024. Sturgeon Bay's had a run of 23 consecutive years of at least one student being offered an art scholarship. This year, the streak continued, with 2 students being offered scholarships. The value of those scholarships being accepted is in the high hundreds of thousands of dollars. So in other words, every year that she has been at the high school, Sturgeon Bay students have been offered an art scholarship. She's extremely adept at preparing students' portfolios for art schools. She has connections with the schools that allow students to maximize their scholarship potential and the ability to be accepted to the school. The connections she has are a result of years of mutual respect and trust between herself and the school representatives. She has had National Scholastic Art Gold and Silver Key winners each year from 2018 to 2026. She had a State Governor's Choice and State Chair Award winner in 2021 with his charcoal sketch of the father in his cowboy hat hanging in the state capitol. And a copy of that is hanging in the halls here at Sturgeon Bay. She is a National Art Ed member and presenter. She's continually seeking to learn new techniques or be exposed to new ideas to push herself and translate her knowledge into instruction for the students and, if possible, offer new classes. She does not want to be stagnant in her career. She views her position in the district as a career, not a job. She has goals and expectations for improving herself as a teacher and artist and has the same expectations for those students. She wants to continually push her students and enrich their art education. As a district, we should be thrilled when a student finds their passion. My boys are math and science students. My daughter is a music kid. Some students thrive with the arts, and it may be the main reason why they're motivated to be at school. We should be cultivating that passion with the highest qualified staff for that position. We need to exhaust every avenue and explore all options to make that happen. In closing, I want to bring up a hypothetical situation. Imagine a math teacher who has been in the district for 32 years, created the AP Calculus program, and each year had students get the highest scores on the AP exam and earn scholarships. Now imagine if that teacher were reassigned to our primary schools to teach elementary math concepts. We wouldn't be utilizing his expertise, experience, or teaching skills to best serve the students of our district. We wouldn't be using an incredible resource for the benefit of the students. And that's what's being currently proposed for the art department next year. Thank you for your time.
Next we had a Rowan Tor.
Good evening. My name is Rowan Poor. I live at 328 North 4th Avenue, and I'm a student here at the high school. I'd also like to use my time today to express my concern and frustrations with the movement of Mrs. Herbst from the high school to the elementary school. My opposition to Mrs. Herbst being moved isn't a personal preference between teachers. It's about her qualification and credibility regarding not just the art department, but the entire school. I'm an advanced placement art student for 2 years and hopefully 3 next year. The classes have grown my art and writing skills along with helping me learn how to express myself and keep up with college curriculum. Mrs. Herbst has been teaching AP classes for 23 years, curating her optimized method of teaching that one would not get by simply reading the curriculum. Evidently, her method is successful as she's spoken at state and national conferences along with being featured in national art education journals. This experience, along with her work as an AP art teacher, as an AP art reader, proves superior qualification to the potential designate art teacher. I hope you can see how her expertise is more effectively utilized in the high school than the elementary school. If the reasoning for the change is qualification, in my opinion, A quick glance at the two candidates' resumes makes the decision more than clear. When observing her teaching, it's obvious that she genuinely cares about the future of her students beyond her classroom. And that is why I say this decision doesn't just affect the art department, but the entire school. Herbst has always been involved in several clubs at the school. Right now, she facilitates Crochet Club, Forensics, and the nationally recognized Hope Squad. She's a great role model at her school for those who like to get involved in extracurricular activities, something I know our school values very deeply. I get Mrs. Herbst won't always be here, and it's normal for staff to change over the years. My issue is with the abrupt and rushed nature of the decision. The regular, advanced, and AP classes that she spent decades curating need much earlier and advance notice to be properly and effectively passed down to the designate teacher. Herbst has offered to retire early to comply with the district's needs. This would give the art department sufficient time to prepare for the switch and give mentorship where needed. The main point I'd like to convey today is to urge you to listen to those who this will impact on a day-to-day basis. This decision will personally impact all current and future art students. Many AP students take multiple classes and submit multiple portfolios, a testament to the success of our current instructor. Herbst works with us across several school years, taking into account our entire body of work to put together portfolios. Such an abrupt change in administration will derail the development of several students' portfolios. Herbst also helps students navigate complicated college, scholarship, contest, and summer program applications. What other teacher in our district has had a scholarship winner every year for the last 23 years and has helped students win over $2 million worth of scholarships? The decision will disrupt these important ongoing conversations Mrs. Herbst is always having with her students. This will have a large, direct influence on a number of students' futures. I get it's a difficult decision to make. I understand it's about the budget, but it's also about the future of a very talented and passionate group of students. All I ask of you is that you put yourself into our shoes when deliberating this decision. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, I think we are down to the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of the following: approving the meeting minutes of the regular meeting of the board of January 14th, 2026. Point B, the board retreat of February 4th, 2026. Also approving the January bills that are in your packet. We accept grants and donations as follows. For the Robert H. Nickel Auditorium, there's a $1,000 anonymous donation for the auditorium, a $500 using or family donation for the auditorium, $2,838 from the high school band, which donated profits from the Jazz Festival for the auditorium project. $100 from Maggie Stevens for the auditorium. Under the Sawyer Playground Initiative, $1,250 from David and Lori. 12,000. What did I say? I'm so sorry. 12,000. Yeah, big difference. And I am good with money usually, right? $12,500 from David and Lori Nicholas for the Sawyer Playground. $1,000 from Dennis Connolly for the Sawyer Playground. $300 from Dr. Grenfell at Smile Designs, Door County for the Sawyer Playground. $957 Other Worlds Bookstore from Margaret and David McMagel. They are for roundup donation collected at December at the checkout to assist families with lunch balances. $1,000 from TTX for high school boys soccer. $1,148 from Sunrise Teacher Grants. That was an anonymous donation. And Raybrook donated for special education field trips. Thank you to these groups and individuals associated with them for their generosity. We did have someone announcing retirement. Aaron Kuwidiak is retiring from her administrative assistant position at Sawyer School effective March 31st of this year. And then 0.5, accept academic and career planning ACP plan. I'm just reading as follows. We have, per the DPI administrative code for PI 26, school boards are required to indicate on a pupil's transcript the name of each course completed by the pupil, the number of high school credits earned for each course, whether a course is eligible for post-secondary credit, and if applicable, the course's participating post-secondary institution. 0.2, annually review and, if necessary, update the long-range plan and education for employment program under PI 26.03. This review shall evaluate pupil post-secondary outcomes. At the conclusion of the review, the school board shall prepare a report on the school district's education for employment program. The report shall describe the education for employment program's current progress and future goals related to improving post-secondary outcomes. 0.3, publish its long-range plan under PI 26.03 and 1, and the report under sub 2 on the school district's website. 0.4, annually notify parents of its education for employment program. The notice shall inform parents of the information and opportunities available to pupils under PI 26.03, 2, and 3, including the availability of programs at technical colleges. Items 1, 3, and 4 are carried out by career readiness team members, Principal Nervy, Counselors O'Hanley, Podolsky, Londo, and Martins, and Tech Integration Specialist Jen Hansen. Significant assistance, data, and review also provided by David Gordon and Lauren Ballman. Youth Apprenticeship Coordinator and School-Based Coach, CISA 7. Item 2 requires school board review and approval annually. Attached in the packet is the updated Sturgeon Bay High School ACP plan. A motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented is recommended. Do I have a
Move to approve the consent agenda items that are presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Schultz and seconded by Commissioner Hawes to approve the consent agenda. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. So now we're down to the operations point of the evening.
If I may, President Stefani?
Yes.
The board knows this, it's in italics, but for anyone watching the recording now, tonight, or in the future, under resignations and retirements, we always make a note. We have a tradition over the last number of years, at least the 12 years I can speak to that I've been here, that we have an informal reception honoring any of our retirees, such as Aaron Widia, and 25-year employees. I think we have 2, right, of those, Mrs. Demise, that we're going to be honoring next month. So again, while our board meetings, as we know, typically start at 6 o'clock, we have that informal reception here at 5:30. All staff, retirees, obviously family. Mrs. Demise does a nice job inviting family of our honorees. And we send that out to just kind of for the record mentioning, I think we usually have some cake and punch and so forth. So starting at 5:30, informal, we'll have some comments by the retiree supervisor, principal. Villers will be talking about Aaron. And then we'll honor those folks again a month from tonight. So just wanted to touch on that. As kind of a little nugget there.
Perfect.
Back to operations, President Stefani, right?
Yep.
All right, since we don't need the first one for any consent items that may have been pulled, we can go to number 2. Approve updated long-term maintenance and capital maintenance plan. Again, the board's heard a lot about pieces of this over time. I will go to the notes for the record. Included in your packet is an updated long-term maintenance, capital maintenance plan. As per state statute, having at least a 10-year capital maintenance plan is required when a district utilizes Fund 46. While we do not use Fund 46 often due to the equalization aid impact when we transfer funds from Fund 10 to Fund 46, it is an important tool that affords us some financial flexibility when budgeting for those capital projects. As we've discussed in the past and most recently in the board retreat, we plan to transfer $180,000 from Fund 46 or into Fund 46, at the end of the year for future roofing projects, beginning with the last fiscal year, 24-25. We also use Fund 46 to allow building principals to save excess budget dollars from their annual building supply budget. Once upon a time, some of you may recall, probably Vice President Jenner John, the carryover concept, right? Where that was there. This is a way to kind of do a similar thing in a different way, like when Randy Watermullen saved up for the middle school teachers and did grants. With that said, back to the notes. Our use of Fund 46 will continue to be relatively limited, which is reflected in the fact that this plan is relatively short and not a full all-encompassing maintenance plan. Looking at the report that Jake has, of course, prepared for us, you see those three sections. The first section contains projects that principals are currently saving for. The next section is 4 projects the Department of Technology is anticipating over the coming years. Note that while the door fob system was approved earlier this school year, we have the hardware installation doesn't actually happen until summer. At this point, Jake doesn't anticipate any Fund 46 dollars having to be used for that. Next sentence. The final section is more maintenance department planning, though some of it was suggested by principals too, in addition with really John Sullivan and Jake. The rows highlighted in green are maintenance projects that have been deferred for various reasons. Final paragraph. As you look at the estimated prices and anticipated years, there are relatively general estimates. We're not beholden to those dollar amounts or timeline. At this point, the dollar amounts are estimates based on the information we have right now. As we get closer to an anticipated project, of course, official bids would be gathered. The board will still be required to approve any project on the list, right? Or not if we don't do that prior to a project starting. So a motion to approve the updated long-term capital maintenance plan is recommended.
I'll make that motion, like. The long-term capital maintenance plan. Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Sturkis, seconded by Commissioner Schultz to approve the updated long-term capital maintenance plan. Further discussion?
I guess I would just add that I talked to Jake quite a bit about it. So I just want to make sure the other board members understand, as I finally know, it's really just a plan that allows us to put these funds into 46 in accordance with our state requirements, right, in our accounting policies. It doesn't say that we're doing A, B, or C, but it's a plan that we can now if we want to, right? Essentially, that's how that ended up, right? And we can adjust that as we move. That's the beauty in it, but we have to do it for 46 in order to meet the rules. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Any further discussion?
I think the only thing I'll add, right, coming out of that.
I probably simplified it way too much.
No, that was good. In the coming months, probably looking at May or June, we'll have an opportunity to dig in more along with everything that we talked about at the board retreat and the long-term maintenance capital planning that's, or maintenance planning in general that's going on, so.
Did we establish a subcommittee to do?
We have
anything?
not yet,
We have also had initial discussion, as we've talked about, like a work group. The terminology, right, our board is used in by board policy, we don't have any standing committees, including a maintenance committee or board policy committee, whatnot. We've talked about the possibility of using maybe the June learning session, right, since we usually put that on the calendar, but we try not to use it for the most part for obvious reasons, last week of school, et cetera. Maybe that's a chance to get those interested as kind of a small work group, right? If we can have, one or more board reps and maybe some members of, the admin team and anyone else that might be interested to just have some of those conversations that we got into at board retreat and since. So not set in stone yet, we've got time on that, but we thought that might be a way of going since it's on the calendar as a possibility, knowing how people's summers get, wanting to make sure we're headed this before next fall.
One question about that too. Will the 2 reps for the 2 companies be coming possibly then to that June meeting, or will they? I know that one was waiting for us that February's retreat meeting. We didn't get to hear from him.
Yeah, and a couple of us did talk with him, right? He's been around before, and Commissioner Spricka has dealt with him in his current day job, et cetera. So they're not currently scheduled to come at that time. We can schedule them to come at that time, or the work group may want to have a conversation first before hearing from them. I think we've got time. Great question, Commissioner Meyer. I think it's a matter of how we want to proceed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any further discussion on this motion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried. Now down to approving an associate.
Yeah, we have just the one associate for tonight, Tessa Brunner, special education teacher associate over at Sawyer. Special ed pupil services director Lindsay Ferry and principal Katie DeVillers are pleased to recommend Tessa Brunner for special ed teacher associate position at Sawyer Elementary School for the remainder of the current school year. Tessa has earned her certification in early childhood education from NWTC. Tessa comes to this position with experience working as the assistant teacher at the YMCA Daycare Center and as a lead teacher at GoGo Child Development Center. Tessa has also done some subbing for us in this position and has shown her compassionate care for her students. The team is excited for Tessa to now formally join the special education students over at Sawyer. So a motion to approve Tessa Brunner as a special education teacher associate at Sawyer School through the end of the current 25-26 school year is recommended.
I'll move to approve Tessa Brunner as a special education teacher associate at Sawyer School through the end of the 25-26 school year.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hall, seconded by Commissioner Starr to approve Tessa Bruner as the special education teacher associate at Sawyer School through the end of the 2025-2026 school year. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, and we're done.
We've got some coaches. Yep, I'll go to 4. Here we go, make sure two versions line up here. So we've got head boys soccer coach. This is varsity head coach. Again, we've talked openly right about Coach Moss hanging it up. So athletic director Dupuis and principal Nerby recommend Jesus, or known to many, right, Jesse Mejia Jr. for the head boys varsity coaching position at high school. Jesse has been an assistant soccer coach at Sturgeon High School since 2020. His coaching stints at Lakeland University, FC Wisconsin North, the Wisconsin Olympic Development Program, and DC Wave. Jesse is an alum of Sturgeon Bay High School and looks to carry on the strong soccer tradition within our community. A motion to approve Jesus Mejia Jr. as the head boys soccer coach is recommended.
I'll make a motion to approve Jesus Mejia Jr. as the head boys soccer coach.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Starr, seconded by Commissioner Jennerjohn to approve Jesus Mejia Jr. as the head boys soccer coach. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we're down to head boys golf course.
Yes, athletic director Dupuis and principal Nerby recommend Michael Grushinsky for the head boys golf position here at Sturgeon Bay High School. Michael is current girls head golf coach and tech ed teacher, as you know, within our district. Michael has also helped out with the boys program the last few years. Michael looks forward to continuing to build a strong program while giving students the opportunity to learn a lifelong sport. A motion to approve Michael Grushinsky as the head boys golf coach is recommended.
I'll move to approve Michael Brzezinski as the head boys golf coach.
Second. Was that, Commissioner Schultz? Okay, thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Cruz, second by Commissioner Schultz to approve Michael Brzezinski as the head boys golf coach. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So now we're down to assistant boys golf coach, Michael Rose.
Yes. Athletic director Dupuis and principal Nerby recommend Michael Rose for the assistant boys golf position at Sturgeon Bay High School. Michael, as many of you would know, is an alum of Sturgeon Bay High School and currently works for American Family Insurance. Michael's excited to start his coaching career while giving back to the district that gave so much to him. A motion to approve Michael Rose as the assistant boys golf coach is recommended.
I'll make the motion to approve Michael Rose as the assistant boys golf coach. Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Jennerjohn, seconded by Commissioner Meyer to approve Michael Rose as the assistant boys golf coach. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we're down to assistant baseball coach Chris Blow.
Another familiar name, athletic director Dupuy and Principal Nerby recommend Chris Lodel for the assistant baseball coaching position at the high school. Chris is an alum of Sturgeon Bay, where he played 4 years of baseball. Past 2 seasons, he has helped coach Henry Gillis and the baseball program, being a volunteer coach at that point for the high school and the summer seasons. So motion to approve Chris Lodel as an assistant baseball coach is recommended.
Make a motion to approve Chris Lodel as the assistant baseball coach.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Stars, second by Commissioner Cruz to approve Chris Lodel as the assistant baseball coach. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. The next one, point E, for those of you following at home, it's the first candidate has declined, right?
Not going to be available as we understand.
Yes, so we are doing assistant track. Go ahead.
Sounds good, yeah, so for the board in front of you, right, you had a 50% from one, 50% for the other. My understanding is the candidate I'm about to read about, Angeline Fuller Johnson, it would still be half of that position as I currently understand it. So we're simply looking to approve her in an assistant, again, a partial assistant track coach role, not the other candidate. All right, so we've got our notes here, and hopefully keep that straight. Athletic Director Dupuy and Principal Nerby recommend Angeline Fuller Johnson for an assistant track coach position at the high school level. And the thinking is that she would take half of the assistant track coach stipend. Ms. Fuller Johnson is a new member of the Sturgeon Bay community and wants to help the program out, as she had noticed our ad in the Pen Pulse. Angeline participated in track and field throughout high school in Minnesota, mainly focusing on pole vault. Angeline was also on the cross country team. Jumping ahead to the next page. Be excited to have Ms. Fuller Johnson on our coaching staff as our track numbers look to grow. So a motion to approve Angeline Fuller Johnson as an assistant track coach. Really, again, 50% of that assistant coach position is recommended.
I'll move to approve Angeline Fuller Johnson as an assistant track coach at a 50% split.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hawes, second by Commissioner Starr to approve Angeline Fuller Johnson as an assistant track coach at a 50% level. Further discussion?
Do we have any ideas about who's gonna fill the other 50% role?
Not that I'm aware, I think Commissioner Sprick had a question.
So I think we have Mr. Baumgartner, right, as an assistant, and then we also have another, so we'll have 3 per track season, essentially
I
now.
was gonna say, I couldn't give you the number off the top of my head, but yeah, we typically have a certain number of them.
Which is more than we had last year, I believe.
That would be a positive step.
This is good.
Bring it back.
For
Tell me
that.
how to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that motion carried. Now, assistant football coach Mike Propson.
Like Director Dupuy, Principal Nerby recommend Mike Propson for the assistant football coaching position at Sturgeon Bay High School. Mike is an alum of Sturgeon Bay and has coached numerous sports within the district and community from youth all the way up to our varsity level. Mike looks forward to helping grow the program with the knowledge and enthusiasm that he has for Cooper athletics. A motion to approve Mike Propson as an assistant football coach is recommended.
Move to approve Mike Propson as an assistant football coach.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hawes, seconded by Commissioner Jenner to approve Mike Propson as an assistant football coach. Further discussion?
Glad to see him coming back in.
That's good.
Good guy.
I agree. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And I admit, I may or may not, Commissioner Starr, have teased Mike Propson at the basketball game the other night. You know, that, well, it'd be up for approval if you can pass a background check. So there was that, and some of you know he's volunteered, and some of our volunteers get background checked quite a number of times, which,
Yeah.
there it is. So we'd see, and then I did tell him, maybe his brother could go and say that. So,
And now we're approve a middle school coaching position.
yeah, it's really a math team coach. Principal Mark Smullen recommends Craig Siegel as the middle school math team coach. Craig has been taking students to UW Oshkosh math competition the past 3 years and will do a great job kind of officially stepping into that coaching role. A motion to approve Craig Siegel as a middle school math team coach is recommended.
I'll move to approve Craig Siegel as the middle school math team coach.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hawes, seconded by Commissioner Meyer, I believe I heard, to approve Craig Siegel as the middle school math team coach. Further discussion?
I'll just say Mr. Siegel was an amazing encourager of my kids in math. He was a great middle school teacher, so I think he did a good job.
Great. Me too. That's good. Any other comments? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So now
But
we're,
maybe the financial planner in you is just happy he's helping out with the middle school personal finance in addition to what the kids can get in high school.
yeah, he does,
That's good.
he does a lot of things additionally. Remember the playground initiative?
Playground stuff behind the middle school, right?
Yeah.
Sports complex. I don't know how many different youth basketball teams he's coaching. So between him and Ben Vandervelden, who was here earlier, I think.
He's only coaching 2, right?
That's only 2 at the moment. All right, so he's slacking.
He evidently has 30 hours in his day, but us mere
Like some
mortals
people,
only
I know.
have 24. So now we're down to approve the schedule for the secondary campus.
Yeah, and again, the board's heard quite a bit about this and had a chance to talk with high school staff, et cetera. And I think across middle school and high school, we worked through a few of the kinks to get that. I will start with the description and then again, obviously you have some materials in your packet. You've seen that previously. So just back to the notes for now for the record. As was discussed in the February 4th board retreat, be wise for the district to implement a strategic system that accomplishes a number of things as we look at a year, a decade or more ahead. Such a system needs to consider how to best serve students, attract, retain, and support quality staff, be fiscally responsible, allow for staffing levels to contract or reduce as our student population does, our preference to work through attrition whenever possible, not layoffs, and allow staff to be shared across schools. The board retreat, we heard from our secondary principals about 2 schedules. We discussed various pros and cons of each, discussed how unanticipated resignations could then fit into the system, provided feedback and so forth. In the hours that followed the retreat, it became clear that another option should probably have been presented at the retreat as well. The option involved an 8-period day, as you see in the packet, that could better align with the current high school graduation requirements, a variety of other factors, and would be preferred by the SBHS faculty and kind of also on behalf of current and future SBHS students. Principal Irby and Principal Smallin worked with staff to identify 2 variations of the 8-period day. One with the clipper time at the end of the day, as you see in that visual, to reduce academic time missed for early dismissal when teams need to travel, etc. And with clipper time embedded within the day as it currently is. Just color, again, board kind of knows this for people tracking this. Really, we're coming up on the spring sports season here, hard to believe. And really that's highest participation when the most number of kids end up having to leave school early. Going back to the notes, last paragraph, please see the memo from our secondary principals with additional details as well as the 2 8-period day schedules included in your meeting packet. Special thanks go to all staff members who were involved in various ways to examine schedules that could fit with our secondary campus here in Sturgeon Bay and align with the strategic system summarized earlier in this. So I'll go right to the sentence here and then we can pause as needed. A motion to approve a schedule for the secondary campus is recommended. Again, I'll point, I know usually we have a motion, but since there were a couple of options, we can have Principal Irby and Smellin step forward if you like. You see the option A here that has clipper time at the end. As I currently understand it, that this has been the preference of the most folks, and then option B with clipper time embedded during the day. All right, so option A, as we think about a motion, clipper time at the end of the day. Option B, as we think about a motion, clipper time during the middle of the day. Principals Smullen or Irby, is there anything we're missing there? That's good. And again, they can step forward, board members, if you need that. Otherwise, I think we're at a position where we can make that. And again, gents, the preference from at least the most folks was option A with the 8-period day.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve schedule A for the secondary campus.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve option A for the secondary campus. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The schedule is passed. Option A, 8 for secondary campus. Now, approved non-classified contract renewal.
Yeah, and the board knows this is a pretty small group of employees that fall into this category. You see the list there before you. So we've got human resource specialist, bookkeeper, payroll clerk, student information data specialist, and superintendent / board assistant. So if someone would be looking, you see the recommendation there to make a motion and a second and go from there.
I'll make a motion to renew the contracts for our human resource specialist, bookkeeper, payroll clerk, student information and data specialist, and superintendent board assistant.
Second.
All right, we have an option. We have a motion by Commissioner Hawes, seconded by Commissioner Jenner-John to do the following: renew the contracts for our human resource specialist, bookkeeper / payroll clerk, student information and data specialist, and superintendent / board assistant. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. So now we're down to approve administrative contract renewals.
Yes, as discussion occurred in our January 14th closed session meeting following the regular Board of Education, as well as our closed session prior to tonight's regular meeting. Again, kind of summarize second paragraph. Remind administrators must receive preliminary notice of non-renewal at least 5 months prior to the expiration of the contract, which is why we give this initial attention in January. In absence, if no formal notice of renewal or non-renewal is given at least 4 months prior to the expiration of the contract, which of course then becomes February 28th, the contract continues for 2 years. Rather than simply have a lack of action constitute renewal, our district historically has felt that formal action is appropriate. As another reminder, even though contracts are brought forward for renewal as per the timelines that align with state statute here in Wisconsin, the board has neither entertained compensation recommendations nor decided on compensation until later in the school year, right? As the board knows, typically we approve individual teacher contracts in the April board meeting, as well as, again, the teacher contract, any changes to salary ladder, et cetera. And then the following month, compensation for hourly employees, unclassified contract employees, and administrators, again, traditionally that in May. So really, be looking for a motion. We see the list of folks from the classified and unclassified administrative categories there. Looking for a motion and a second regarding renewal of the contracts.
I make a motion to renew the contracts of the director of buildings and grounds, director of food service, Sawyer School Principal, Sunrise School Principal, TJ Walker School Principal, Sturgeon Bay High School Principal, Director of Special Education and People Services, Director of Teaching, Learning and Technology, Business Manager, and Superintendent.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Jenner-John, seconded by Commissioner Hawes to renew the contracts of the Director of Building and Grounds, Director of Food Service, Sawyer School Principal, Sunrise School Principal, TJ Walker Middle School Principal, Sturgeon Bay High School Principal, Director of Special Education and Pupil Services, Director of Teaching, Learning and Technology, the Business Manager, and the Superintendent. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Now we're down to professional staff annual compensation review update. This is informational only.
Yeah, so really this item and the next, right, President Stefani, are really informational items for the board, and the board has seen this information. All teachers have seen the information. I'll touch on the notes and then anything else, and I know Jake can summarize some of this for you in the board retreat also. So first paragraph just reminds for the record that we had the annual compensation review meeting back on Monday, February 2nd. Right, the minutes are included in the board packet, and you've seen them via email and everything else before. All right, second paragraph, really returning teacher contracts are typically approved in the April board meeting in order to be ahead of the May 15th statutory deadline, right? Since we meet on the third Wednesday of the month, typically the board meeting isn't going to be taken care of before May 15th. So we back that up historically here to April to avoid any problems there. And then again, non-teacher comp in May, as I said with the previous item. And then again, the third paragraph just talks about this being an informational item to inform, right, not only the process, Maybe at a high level, just a couple things I'll touch on, as the board knows, and as the teachers who sit in as reps, which we really appreciate with this annual review. Back when the board had first approved this teacher compensation plan at the end of my first year, right, the 14-15 school year. The board at the time built in the fact that this had to receive annual, basically review. The superintendent at the time would get a group of people together. We just happen to have usually at least a couple reps from each school, and typically 2, 3, 4 board reps get together, typically the business manager and superintendent, and kind of talk through some things. We have a system to it, as you've seen. Really, for the most part, the system matches what we have in the past. So again, focusing on some of those things, I think, a high level is a nice kind of shout out. We have, some teachers that have brought forward not only ideas that we've been able to talk about over time, but also potential solutions. I think 2 of the teachers that come to mind, no disrespect to the others, and then a third one I'll mention, we have like Aaron Paralero and Brock Bolanek, both brought forward things that we could work on the post-employment benefit system, right? Shifting from the way it had been to the way it is, which really, I think all eligible teachers other than one opted into that system. So again, teachers were part of that. This year, Craig Siegel, whose name came up earlier, he brought something forward as we look at how teachers can be certified now, right? The old days of all teachers just kind of going through a traditional education teacher prep program are a little different. So you saw in there's not only the national board certification, which we built in since the beginning, but really Craig talked with, especially some of our newer middle school teachers who have a bachelor's but are getting a teaching license through something different called like the American Board process. And since our credit reimbursement process is based off of usually, say, 3 credit classes, the American Board is different. It's not credit based. So finding a way to kind of say, okay, if they complete that, how we could do some reimbursement that stays within the guise of what we've done, but allows a new option. So that was kind of the new item, if you will. Jake, as usual, did a nice job reviewing some different things about teacher salary ladder, which you're all well aware, board members present. Right, you touched on how the board takes that seriously and talks about that each year, with some years, yes, even more time and kind of adjustment to the ladder, and some years not as much. To the other incentives that we're working on, positives, I think, and then I'll pause and see what Jake and board members have. But like PTO, right, with some surveys and some other things the teachers have done to bring forward representation from their colleagues. PTO was really warmly received across the board. That was definitely a shift for us. But working together with teachers over time and really what they brought up, they greatly appreciated that. Let me pause. I've talked enough about that. Jake, anything you would add, or board members that you would add who were present?
I have nothing.
Okay.
It was a good discussion, that's all I'll say. It was good to be there and hear the teacher perspectives.
Thank you to Commissioner Haas, Commissioner Spricka, and President Stefani for spending the time on that. Really, as you know, some of us talked about really scheduling after that, which kind of was a part that leveraged into, right? That was another hour that leveraged into the board retreat, but that helped us get to where we are now with what you approved for the secondary campus tonight to make sure everyone's been heard.
So I think we're to the next.
Yep. The next one, the achievement gap reduction school board mid-year review, again, just an informational item, or AGR for short. Going way back, right? This was known in essence as the SAGE program, right? So incentivized, smaller class size. And then over time, the state changed this, did not allow additional schools to get in. So the eligible school list has really kind of whittled down over time. And they changed the name because it wasn't really just about class size anymore to this AGR, achievement gap reduction. And because why not have more bureaucracy from the state? Once upon a time, we only had to report to you at the end of the year. Now we have to report to you at the midpoint, which is what you're seeing now, and the end of the year. So I know Director Weber would love to talk about this with you, but she also is okay if you don't have any questions for her tonight.
Just to clarify, like only a small subset of schools in Wisconsin have to do it, but they have to do a lot more reporting. Is that right?
Well, if the state's gonna give some money, they're sometimes gonna add,
Okay. got
it's
it.
appropriate to say hoops to jump through, but I think we're gonna be honest about that. So, yeah. So again, we've been in for quite a while. It continues. At some point, will it go away completely? Maybe, or they'll just maybe let the little right down, or as we know with school funding, and I've talked a lot in recent months, right? You never know where they're gonna go with that.
Thanks.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you. Okay, just informational item, nothing for the board to officially do or accept. President Devani, I think that's the end of it. I think we're at reports here. I think some of the team was gonna yield their time. Some may have an item they wanna highlight. So what order do we wanna go? They're looking at each other. Is there anyone who wants to highlight? I know a couple of you talked to me about, okay, Principal DeVillers, come on down from Sawyer. You often have to go last or near last, so we'll give you the floor.
I'm going to share something with you in hard copy tonight. Really proud of the work that we're doing to reduce the 4K. Yep. Wow, look at that. Hey. Coming up in April, we have our 4K registration event. We get help from the whole district. We started it last year. We had record numbers this year in 4K, and we're hoping that we'll have the same result. So that's for you to put up wherever you want. We've had it splashed all over, and we'll continue. Thanks to Ann too for putting the pulse and other things. We're really looking forward to that. So that gives you all the information. There's a front and the back there, and hopefully it's user friendly. Second thing I wanted to share with you, parent teacher conference, they're coming up. We're looking forward to seeing parents in our building and talking to students about the great progress they're making. I'm excited to report that last year, I'm hoping I share, but as a recap, Amro School, we're starting a 4K program, and they came to see our program and we're very impressed. I'd like to say the word spreading because Stevens Point has contacted us this year, and they will be coming to see our 4K program as well. We're excited for that visit coming up. The 4K teachers do extra hard work to not only have them observe in all their classes, but meet with them after and answer a lot of questions. So it's nice to be seen and heard and that kind of thing. And I would be remiss without reporting that we are up in the cereal box challenge at Sawyer School, if you know about it. We are up to between, I'm going to say between 200 and 230 boxes of cereal. And we're very competitive and we want to beat all the other schools. I don't know where they're at, but we're excited with that number. So thanks to all the families who have donated.
Thank you, Katie. I may or may not, board members, be friends with the superintendent in Amro from our days together in Oshkosh, but I can't take any credit for the second connection she shared. And as Principal Smollen's coming up again, so this part of this is an offshoot of the connection we made with Brian Nickel from the Donovan Group. A couple of you may have met Brian at some point down at convention. If you remember, the Donovan group did some work for us just around kind of planning with communications and kind of supporting some of the marketing efforts that Jake and others were working on, just kind of giving us an idea of how it could fit together depending how much time and energy or money we wanted to put into that. And part of that plan, if you recall, that an offshoot was they were going to produce a video for us. That was the video that's been debuting the last couple of months. Spencer's shown it. It's been halftime of the games and whatnot, where they came at homecoming. All right, ladies, see that always perks you right up when we bring that up. Right, they got a bunch of footage, went to all the schools, parade, drone footage, volleyball, soccer, right? They hit a bunch of events and put together really cool video. And then their idea, and we kicked around different ways of narrating it. They came up with the idea of using a few teacher voices. Specifically, they kind of focused on some middle school teachers to kind of be the voices behind that. And it really worked out really well. And again, offshoot of them. So when some of this came up about we need some help, we got to do a better job getting some mailers out, right? Katie and her team kind of made a connection, and that's what came up there. So just a little bit of background on that.
Well, it's a great.
Principal Smollen, what do you got?
Yes, just a couple quick updates. Seaperch, I've also been talked about that before. It's this really cool program where fifth graders create these robots that go underwater and go through obstacle courses. So they're competing next week. They've been practicing at the Y. So stay tuned on that. And we had our Battle of the Books competition yesterday. And our first place team is Emma Angelov, Zoe Visti, Harper Jennerjohn, and Ingrid Back. So they'll compete at the state competition next week. The teachers did beat them this year, which was awesome. That doesn't always happen. They really study very hard, but they did win this year. So that was great. And we had a really awesome author visit. Bethany Barton came, and so that was really well organized. So we're proud of that, but we're just kind of zoning in, trying to bring more cereal boxes in. We're not that far, but we're working on it. That's all. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. I was talking with Kristen and Lori in the high school office today as I was making my rounds, and they're like, boy, we know we're with the cereal box challenge, not gonna be able to beat the elementaries. So we all chuckled about difference maybe perhaps with kids and parents, the teenage years versus the elementary. So that was a good idea that I think that Principal Nerby had brought forward, if I recall. Principal Smolin, what do you got?
Just real quick, I was able to go to a conference, don't get a chance to get away much. Just want to let you know is that I've learned we're doing very well with many things. And I met with our leadership team tonight, and we're going to continue this process and adopt it. Well, one thing that I learned, because we're doing it already, and we're just going to refine it so we don't go through like, many organizations you got to work at, sometimes go through fatigue, right? So the biggest process we do is what Jen, I think, shared with us back in like 1920, was going through these, basically how they create their curriculum and how we refine it and how we're going to provide scaffolds for kids that need it. And we're going to continue doing this. A few more steps that's going to help us out. And I'm just I'll share some feedback with you. I think after we meet in February at 27th at our professional development day. A lot of good things. Appreciate being able to sneak off for a day. So.
While we have you at the podium, we've talked with the board about this before. Yeah, you knew what's coming. But as far as TJ Walker Middle School, right, had some visitors from Madison last week. Maybe just touch on that for those that didn't see it since because of the way they did it.
Yeah, so the state superintendent came with a representative from Andre Jocks, came to visit. We came and met and learned about what's happening up in the high school here with some Wisconsin virtual classes and the Rising Phoenix program. Visited the greenhouse with Jenny Spoody and talked about what her model she's using for breakfast for our students. They had plans to go over to the elementary, but whatever reason they cut it short and they had to head to New Franken, and so the visit was kind of cut in half. But it was nice to get to see, and I think they got to see what's happening in the math classes, which was, I think, one of the things that made our biggest change by adopting that book a few years back of Building Thinking Classroom. So she was impressed, and but I just want to emphasize it's important when she comes and people like that come, they see the whole district, not just one place. So.
And again, that goes back to, right, again, the middle school's blue ribbon designation, right, for being high achieving and closing gaps of board members, just to bring that together. All right, thank you. Principal Nerby, come on down.
Thank you. Just a few quick things. One, I think I talked last month about the college fair. That's coming on the 2nd, March 2nd, from 3:30 to 4, from 3 to 4:30. It's open. We've invited our other neighbors in the county to invite students to come to that as well. We're also doing a panel with our students at 2 o'clock. So we're up to 16 colleges and universities coming right here to present to our students and share information. So we're really excited about that. ACT is coming up quickly, if you can believe that. March 11th, we have our ACT for our juniors. Our teachers have been busy working with our students to make them feel prepared and to help them work through all of that and be ready for it. So we're excited to have that on March 11th. And as a reminder for families out there, on that day, it's just juniors who are in the building. It takes all hands on deck. So our freshmen, sophomores, and seniors are not in the building on that day. And then we have our family teacher conferences. We are already halfway through next week, halfway through the 3rd quarter. And so we have our family teacher conferences from 4 to 7. Our parents should have already received invites to come in and meet with teachers. And so we encourage them all to do that. And finally, I'm really excited to share that we have announced our valedictorian and salutatorian for the class of 2026. This year's salutatorian is Sawyer Clark. And our valedictorian for the class of 2026, somebody you might know, Maya Nell. Have you been named our valedictorian? So congratulations to our highest honor students. And then in May, I'll bring all of the high honor students before you to celebrate them and their successes. So congratulations.
Thank you, Principal Nerby.
Yeah.
Question, is the college fair for all of the high school students or do you target like one grade?
Yeah, so the panel discussion will be for sophomores and juniors and seniors. But the 3 o'clock to 4:30 is open to everybody. So we'll be sending stuff out to families and all of that to have people come and check that out.
And are the schools that come, are they mostly Wisconsin schools?
Most of them are Wisconsin schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe one more time that date, just for someone that's like, oh, I heard him say it, but now.
Monday, March 2nd, from 3 until 4:30 it'll be in our gymnasium. And so we encourage people to come out. It'll be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal. Thank you. Yeah, you got it down there, Donnie, you have a son in school. I think Director Weber's yielding time, and I think Director Ferry had said earlier yielding time, so I think, yep. Yeah, I know you'd love to come up. Business Manager Holtz.
All right, I got three things. First, I talked a little bit about the wall project we're looking at for the summer. I have on my report, looking at approval on March 4th. We're gonna move that to the regular meeting on March 18th. I think the way everything worked out, the bids just won't be here, in time for, that March 4th meeting. I don't expect that to affect the bids, at all. Speaking of bids, giving you a heads up, Dan and I did give the go ahead for the auditorium group to send out bid packets. Mainly looking at redoing the seats, moving the sound booth in this phase at least. And then the final thing, I know we had some discussion about potentially about bringing the auditor in to speak on our audit. We talked, right, we haven't done that for the last few years. We went through this past January without doing that. We will plan to bring the auditor in for looking at probably next January when that's reviewed. In the meantime, if there is a desire to bring the auditor in sooner, kind of talked about this past years, we can certainly do that as well. What I'll do is I'll mention that tonight, and then maybe in a couple weeks on the 4th, reach out to me if that's something you want to see. If not, we'll just plan on January. So. Thanks. Thank you.
In the interest of time, I was gonna keep it to two things from my report and two I added. Now I'll say three, because I'm really looking forward, as I always do, to the graduation speeches, no pressure. Be sitting right there, we'll take your picture, it's gonna be great. All right, the two items, I wanna thank Allison, who represented the board, for coming to the outdoor sports complex steering committee meeting. And she was able, again, Mike and I have obviously shared some things, but I think it was kind of nice to have another perspective and give them some feedback on the draft memo, right, that we have seen as far as some different things and kind of some thoughts on how maybe to kind of, I was gonna say clean it up, not that that was bad in that regard, but just some things that perhaps, right, that people would like to hear more about. So it's another perspective there. So that was good. I do want to touch on, because Mike and I talked about this, and it wasn't necessary for even an informational board agenda item yet, even though that's kind of where we had started. But the whole piece about board salary, pay, and attendance, right, that's come up in the last few years. And so in my report, again, just kind of, you want to take a look at that. I know you had plenty to read here from the packet and more. But really taking the system we've used and simply inserting perhaps as little as one sentence. So the sample sentence I had, and then we talked about, do we keep the blank or not, or whatnot, and I'll share, I did get one board email so far from you as far as thoughts. How that could look, and remember, this could fit with the May reorganization meeting. Every May, right, the board has several things you have to do. Agenda item number 6 of the reorg meeting, right, following the election, is setting board member salaries. So I have all the language the same, and then I simply added this sentence based off of what some people have kind of thought, etc. And I shared it with Mike as a possible solution for you if you want, once we get to this point. Since board salaries are paid quarterly, in order for a board member to receive the payment for that quarter, the board member must attend a minimum of, insert blank, of the regularly scheduled meetings. This includes regular board meetings and any planned board learning sessions. So I thought that's a simple way to try to encapsulate what we've talked about without having to add a whole new board policy and all those types of things. Somewhere like sample wise, just to kind of, if you want to say, jumpstart the conversation, right, Mike? We said, well, minimum of 50%. Board member emailed, said, hey, I'd be in favor of 100% for that quarter. Again, no decision tonight. Think about it a little bit further. And then if we want to insert the sentence, basically Ann and I will have that ready for the board for the May meeting, and we can insert the sentence or not. However you want to do that as you make those motions. And then the percent, supposed theoretically, whoever makes the motion could give a percent, or people could just kind of kick around what they think. So that was from the report. Was there anything you would add to that, Mike, just based off of
No,
conversations we've had over time as follow-up to the board's conversations?
I think that would solve, that would be, exactly, it's that simple. And could make sure we are being good stewards.
Yeah, and I also thought it's an item of the board, right? No matter what the makeup of the board is, whether it's this May of 2040, right, whatever, it's an item the board looks at every year. So say, hey, is this sentence, if we do add it, is it fitting us? Do we need to tweak it? Do we need to change the percent? Right, all those different things. It's just an easy way, I thought, to do that for us. And then the last two items that I had added in my additional section, just as things come up, since I have to return or put this report together right for like a week and a half ahead of the board meeting. I just had some thoughts about, conversations I've had with folks, and I really think staff overall have been very understanding. I mentioned the staff, like the high school staff meeting and some of those things, just, as we're looking at budget cuts and future planning, really receptive to kind of that one-page guidance document we looked at and tweaked a little bit at the board retreat, knowing it's not easy, but that there's a plan over time for how to try to, like the schedule piece, right, we looked at, to do that. And to address this without having to give layoff notices and all the ugliness that back to Act 10, avoid all those types of things over time, kind of at that high level guidance, that overall that's been well received. And then lastly, for now, you're seeing in the news, different things about state level funding conversations, right? The Republicans have put something forward to Governor Evers, right? There's a piece missing that he wants to see. I think he's in favor of some of what they've put, but they're not all. So I don't know how long that's going to go. Joel Kitchens, because Mike and I both have had conversations with him in the last week again. He did send us a message basically saying that, okay, the Republicans have sent an offer to Governor Evers that makes special education funding increases whole at the 42% that was first advertised for this year and the 45% level for next year. And then also provide a property tax relief package, which again, we've talked since the summer, we'd love, even if it's not dollars for schools, we'd love to see our property taxpayers get relief there. So those are the kind of two main pieces. We'll see. I know I didn't get a chance to watch last night, but right, the governor gave his final, state address, if you will, last night. So we'll see between Republican leadership and the governor, kind of what type of back and forth or how that's going to go in the coming days, I'd imagine. Hopefully something both on the school side, like special ed, and property tax relief side. So I'll stop there in the interest of time.
Okay, so that's it for the report. So at this point, we would be going into closed session. And that's for, no, we just go into, we have to motion for closed session.
Yeah, she's gonna do the roll call.
Yep.
That is.
Yeah. So can we have a motion to go into the closed session? It's gonna be a roll call vote then. So can someone just make the motion?
Make a motion to go into closed session.
Yeah, you gotta read the whole thing. Yeah.
We tried.
I'll make a motion to go to closed session per 19.851 C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Item I, mid-year performance evaluation of district administrator.
Then we'll return to open session. All right, so we have Commissioner Starr made a motion. Do we get a second?
Second.
We have a second, Commissioner Cruz. Further discussion? Hearing none, I'll have Ann do the roll call vote.
Okay, Commissioner Starr.
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer. Here. Commissioner Haas. Here. Commissioner Jennerjohn. Aye. Commissioner Safari.
Aye.
Commissioner Cruz. Aye. Commissioner Howard. Aye. Commissioner Schultz.
Aye.
And Commissioner Zibicka.
Aye.
All right. Here to the other.
We can stay here or we can leave.
We're already here.
That was